Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Yay! We're here with another episode of Mythical Creatures. How exciting. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And before we get started, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, all of the things. Well, you don't have to do that. Let's wait until you can see what's happening in this video. I have no idea what's happening in this video yet again. I'm going to let Teo go ahead and take it away. This is Teo, by everyone. Welcome back.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for being a part of our circle. We're sending the energy right out to you, and we're actually invoking the ideas and the minds and the beautiful gifts of our ancients as we look at some of the marvelous mythological ideas from the past that resonate even today in each of our individual lives. I'm going to be interviewing Bruce, just as I have before, using the archetype of a mythological creature. This time, we did a monster last time, so this time we're doing a beautiful, one of the most beautiful creatures ever to have been invented in the mind of humankind, and that is the Pegasus, otherwise known as a winged horse. We're going to, they are known for Greek culture, but honestly, there are examples of winged horses all throughout time and all throughout different cultures, which is the beauty of myth in general, is that it is something that is always true across countless generations, countless places, and reinvents itself in each individual human's life. So today, we're going to be exploring the spirit of the Pegasus, the winged horse. And without further ado, here we go. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Bruce never knows what I'm going to ask him. So, all right. So I want to just talk about some of the traits of the Pegasus first, and then we'll go into some examples of what happened to the Pegasus. So it's a symbol of freedom and flight, transcending earthly limitations and breaking free from constraints. I love that. Mm-hmm. Wisdom and inspiration, loyalty, trust, dependability, power, grace, majesty, and awe-inspiring moments. Those are the beautiful things. Some of the negative attributes of the spirit of the Pegasus that we might see resonating in ourselves or others might be if you're prone to arrogance, being wild and untamed, garnishing unwanted attention in a way that's negative or a desire to exploit by others, causing envy or jealousy, and fantastical or unrealistic expectations. I guess let's start there. When has there been a moment when you or someone that you were interacting with had grandiose thinking and they needed to be grounded, or you needed to find a moment of grounding for yourself when you were getting outside of the bounds of the moment at hand?
Trump!
Oh, gosh. We're not getting political.
Oh, okay. Whoa, sorry. Wow, okay. And, while Teo is asking me these questions, maybe this is an opportunity for you as well to harness this and ask yourself these same questions, and feel free to put your answers in the comment section as well. Oh, wow. For me, I think that when I was really in the theater world, I had a really big ego, and that needed to be deflated for sure. I thought I was a star and I hadn't even booked a show. So there's that. I really try now to remain as humble as possible, to look back at where it is that I began and to where I'm at now. There's a lot of lessons in my life that I've had to really just shift it back and realize that I'm not the center of the universe, where a vast majority of my younger youth, I thought I was the center of the universe, and I really wasn't.
There's something about maturity when you start to expand your experience from what is necessarily your individual experience as a child, because that's what you're learning, right? You're learning where you fit, what makes you different, but also where you fit. And with maturity comes an expanding of being able to empathize with others.
Oh yeah.
And that, I think, is, part of the spirit of the Pegasus. All right, let's go on to some specific examples. So one of the myths of how the Pegasus was born was actually through the death of Medusa. So if we use this idea needing to let something die so something more beautiful, more majestic can be born. And now obviously it doesn't have to be an actual death. It can also be a letting go. Talk about, if you would please, why letting go is important, and what areas what sorts of things should we let go versus things we should hold on to.
Good question. For me, I think that when I am holding on to something, look at the action of my fist. I'm holding on, my fist is closed, I'm white knuckling it. How am I going to receive if I am closed? So by opening up and letting things go, I'm able to receive so much more. I'm almost like the Swiss cheese. Like, things can flow through me, you know? There's been a lot of times that I've held on to things where I think I need it. You know, I really thought I needed it, when it was just stopping me in my tracks, and I just wasn't open to receiving or allowing myself to have other opportunities come my way. You know, what works for you now may not work for you in the future. What worked for me in the past, in many ways, does not work for me now. So being open to that change and being open to let go can provide so much of a future.
You know, I really like that. That actually makes me think of the idea of a vessel. Water can pour into vessel, but we don't want to hold it there forever or it becomes stagnant. We create the vessel, we give the water to the vessel for the time and purpose that it has. But there comes a time when we need to drink from that well, or when we need to give that water to others. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a beautiful image. Next one. Let's go to the idea of wild and untamed. So in one
all
of
of my youth.
Well, mine too. In one of the myths, Athena harnesses the power and strength and the abilities of the Pegasus by placing a golden bridle on the Pegasus. I like this idea of the golden bridle. And I think it's something that we can do for ourselves in our own experiences. Maybe you have a moment where you can see where a golden bridle on your own wild and untamed ideas might be of value. Might you talk about a moment when those wild impulses were there and you had to use your higher wisdom to rein them in, literally, but in positivity, right? Because it's a golden bridle. It's not a restraint as much as it is a containing for your better good and for your more powerful strength.
Do you have 50 minutes?
That's up to them. You join us for as long as you want.
So specifically, while you asked me that question, there's one moment that popped into my head, and it was when I was a runaway prostitute when I was 16 years old, and I was in Las Vegas, and I had been missing for almost an entire summer. My poor parents, God bless them. And I was very much in a do or die situation. And I remember looking up to all of the high rises, wondering, how do I get to the top of that so that I can, you know, see if I can fly? And there was something that happened, a higher energy, a higher power moment that stepped into me that said, do. Not die, do. And in that moment, I turned myself in and I went home. My father flew down to get me, and I allowed all of this change to happen, and I got the treatment that I needed. So that one really uncontrollable moment turned into something that was controlled and safe.
Thank you for that. I'm sure that if you're joining us now, there might be a moment that you see in yourself or in someone that surrounds you where the strength of that idea may come into play. I want to finish this up with one final story from the Pegasus, and I just really love this one. Pegasus are known for when they bring their immense strength down and they use their hooves to hit solid rock, it brings forth fountains, springs of fresh water. In some myths, that water even gives birth to the muses of creativity and inspiration. But I love this idea of the hard, impenetrable rock And all it takes is bringing your strength to that moment and directing it to bring forth something as life-giving as the flow of water. Where have you seen that in your life or in the lives of those around you?
Well, every time I hit rock bottom, literally rock bottom, there's that release, that flow. All we can do is move upward from that, so that energy that takes us and it elevates us to rise. So every time I've hit rock bottom, and when I look and observe at other people's lives and watching them grow in their journey, one, it's a beautiful thing and I love to witness it. But seeing someone struggle and struggle and struggle until they find that light within themselves, which we all have that light within ourselves. We just have to harness it, accept it, and ignite that light. When that moment happens for people, and there's a lot of people I can think of, like Kat, for instance, our friend Kat, has had those roadblocks in their life before, and to see them get out of their way and to see the successful fruits of her labor when she releases that, and when she's hit that wall, and then all of a sudden almost that giving in and allowing something greater than ourselves to take control, and just witnessing where her life and her career has led her, being a hairdresser on Broadway, doing many Broadway shows, succeeding to the utmost ability, has been really rewarding to watch.
I hope that you can find that in your own life too. Know that with the idea of the Pegasus, one of the gifts that we've been given by our ancestors in this idea is even what appears to be an impenetrable rock, an obstacle, can be the source of something life-giving if you direct your energy and your strength towards it, and knowing that there's something beyond what you see. Just because you see a physical barrier doesn't mean that there's not emotional or spiritual strength hiding just underneath the surface, and all you need to do is direct yourself to get it. I hope that becomes a value for you, and I hope you're enjoying what we're doing with these.
I am.
I love me a good mythic creature. So so our next one, actually, we just did Pegasus, which is something that's just eternally beautiful. So instead we're going to go to something that some people consider very ugly, but I bet we'll find some positive aspects to it. We're going to have something a little bit more contemporary, something not quite so ancient. Our next creature will be zombies.
Oh, fun.
So join us for that. I'll come up with some good questions for Mr. Bruce over here. Thanks for joining us.
Before we end, I actually wanted to go back to that barrier, the wall.
Sure.
There's so much to be said for that, because we all hit that obstacle in our life, and just because there's a solid brick wall in front of us does not mean that there's not a doorway within that wall, and every doorway can be opened. All it takes is the key of willingness.
The key of willingness. And on that, I think that's a good one to wrap up.
Yes.
Until we come back with the zombies.
Zombies! How fun. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much again for joining us. I'm loving this. Thank you so much for this wonderful idea. This was all him. And stay tuned. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you for being here. And as always, negativity, be gone. Do your best, do no harm, and do for yourself every single day, so that you too can eventually do for others. If you can't do for others, it just means that you need to be doing for yourself. I love you. You are capable and you are worthy. Until next time, be well. Bye.